time to get out and practice at all?
A little over
Okay.
the break. I wanted to go yesterday, but just got caught up with work. I need to start taking half days or something.
I don't blame you, man.
Just to find time.
And I think I sent you a few things, like a grip minder and stuff like that. Did you get all that information and stuff like that? Did I send you that?
Grid minder?
Yeah, like something for the grip.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I've got that.
Okay, great, good.
And I got like the sticks and stuff.
Great. This one right there.
I've got Top Golf tonight, so.
Ooh, all right. Who you going with?
It's actually a bachelor party, so I know a few guys. There's probably gonna be some guys I don't know, but it should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. What time's the party start?
I think it's 7.
7. There you go.
So hopefully I'm all warmed up for that.
Yeah, I'll give you a few things for you to kind of work on and hopefully show off some of your skills there at the bay. Pretty good here, buddy. Compared to where we were.
We're still going straight, right?
Yeah. How's it feeling? Getting good and warmed up now?
It's feeling good.
Okay. Give me a couple swings here. We're gonna take a look at it all. What club do we have there?
It's the 7.
let's take a look at a few things here, right? We'll take a look at this swing right here for us. Okay. Now, what I'm going to kind of do here is just explain a few things, right? So, what we see here up on this screen right here is something that's going to kind of give us an MRI about what our golf swing's doing, what our equipment's doing through time and space. What I have here is something that's going to give us a little bit more of an MRI about our body, what we're kind of doing with our body. Okay, we can kind of see that on the screen here, but we can't really measure that, and that's why we'll be using this device to kind of show you measurements, right? Something that's quantifiable. Okay, but let's kind of take a look at the overall setup and look. Okay, so first thing I'd like to see here, just a little bit with the setup here. Okay, with the 7-iron, is I'd like it just a little bit up of center. Okay, so the ball position just a little bit up of center. Okay. The other thing I'd like to see, Dominic, here is I'd like to see this lead foot squared up, and I'm going to explain that why. Or I mean the trail foot, I'm sorry. Yeah, that back foot right there, we want that squared up, okay? All right. Now, let's kind of see as we kind of move on through here, okay? I'm going to kind of put this right here along our side here, just as so. Okay, and let's see what happens here. Ideally, we want our hip to go away from this line. Let's see what happens for you, okay? Okay, do you see what we did right there? Into that, okay? So as we kind of come in here just like that. So we have a little bit of a casting issue too. We'll work on that. But the first thing that we need to work on is our lateral movement, okay? You've got too much excessive lateral movement away from the target, okay? So let's take a look at this thing here, right? So the first thing, it diagnosed 5 issues that we need to have, okay, or work on, right? First and foremost, staying center and turning around the center point, okay? So let's watch the video and that'll give you a little explanation for you.
We recognized in your swing that you have excessive sway in the backswing. The likelihood of struggling with inconsistent ball flight or making poor contact is much higher from this. Excessive sway in the backswing is when the chest and pelvis move too far away from the target. We can measure this with the help of the pelvis sway and chest sway tracker at the top of the backswing. Don't forget, check out those recommended drill videos.
Okay.
And practice against that goal.
So does that kind of help you at least with the number 1 issue that we have, right? Now, it says that we have 5 issues. Now, I usually find that if we can fix one, they start to kind of trickle down the line. Does that make sense? So the first and foremost that we need to kind of fix, at least on the face-on view today, is getting you to turn more around your center and not leaning off. Does that make sense? Okay, any questions about that? All right, so let's do this, okay? Let's do a little work and let's get a feel for it, okay? So what I want you to do right now is just give me a practice swing, okay? Give me what you kind of do, and I want you to give me some words of what you feel, okay? It doesn't have to be anything correct or anything. We're not looking for, I'm just looking for words that connect you to what you're doing.
I'm gonna feel it more like right here.
Okay, and that's fine. So I just want you to kind of feel what you're doing, and I'm going to make you feel a little something different. And I want you to kind of, hey, that feels different. All right, so I'm going to take your club from you. Okay, put them right back over here on the back so we don't lose them. All right, and now what I'm going to do, actually let me do this for you. If you stand right over there, let me demonstrate this real quick for you, then I'll have you jump on in, okay? All right, so we're going to put a little something right here next to our side right here, okay? We're going to put a little alignment stick right across our chest, okay? And then what I want you to do is I want you to create space between this object and your hip, okay? Now in the backswing, we can have a little lateral shift. About 1 inch is what pros do, okay? But we don't want to be doing this. Does that make sense? Okay, so there is a little lateral shift. I don't want you to think that you just go like this, okay? We do shift back about 1 inch, 1.5 inches, okay? But we don't want to go back 3. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Right, so I'm going to get here, and what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to create space between this object and my hip, as I said. Do you see where I'm at there? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's what we're going to try to get accomplished right there. Okay, so I'm going to have you get on in here and turn that hip back away from this, okay? And I want to kind of get a couple feels of what you feel in your feet and through your abdomen. Okay? Yep. Any questions there, big guy? Okay. on this end. There you go, great, great. Okay, so let's get into position there. Very good, okay. Okay, let's do it very slow. Okay, good. Now what do I want you to kind of do? You see how you got a flat turn right here? Okay, set up again. A little bit more waist bend for me. Okay, good. A little bit more. There you go, good. Now I'm gonna have you go. There you go. Okay, you feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, do it slow, okay? Try to get a sense. Yeah. All right. Do it slow and hold it, okay? What do you feel?
Yeah, it's a lot more here.
Yeah, you feel it in the abs a little bit, right? What do you feel in your feet?
A little back pressure on the foot there.
Right, right. So you feel yourself pushing into the ground, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's probably something you haven't felt before, is it?
Not really, no.
Okay, so we're just putting our feels in a whole different area, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So with us turning more center around our spine, we have a greater chance of returning that club back to a useful position. Does that make sense? But once I start to laterally sway and then come back, I've moved my eyes, I've moved my center point, and I've got to have impeccable timing to get through there, which 9 out of 10 people do not. And the people that do are on the tour and they get away with it. Does that make sense?
Right.
All right, so let's keep with this, okay? I need you to kind of keep with this feel for a little bit. Good. Okay. Good. All right. All right. Do it slow so your body gets a good sense of it. There you go. All right, good. Good. Okay. Good. Good. That's where you just need to stop. You don't need to over-rotate. Yep, right there. Good. Okay. So we still have a little work to do on that, okay? But that's a lot better than where we were before. Does that make sense? Okay, so we got to keep working on that. That's going to be a body movement. Now this is something I'm going to need you to kind of do for, 2 sessions for about 10 or 15 minutes a night or a day. So we start to get that neural pattern for what we're trying to do. Okay, because if I just put a club in your hand, you're going to revert right back to what you're used to, right? So we got to get that neural implant. Okay, so here, once again, get a focus of, once again, set up for me, get a focus of getting as much space from this to that as you can. Yep. All right, so here you go, once again. Feel that? Okay. There you go. Good, good. Letting that hip get up and back on us. Good. Now don't go too much with your chest. There you go. Okay, so here you go once again. There you go. Okay. Good. Good. Maybe a little bit too far down. But that's okay. I'm not worried about that. All right. Okay. Good. Good. All right. Okay, so with this drill here, right, with us trying to get there, there's a few other things here that says, shift to our lead side, right? If I can get you to turn around your center, it's going to be a lot easier to shift forward than if I shift back and shift forward. Does that make sense? So that, hopefully will start cleaning itself up as we move along. Maintain posture. If I can get you to kind of turn this way and turn back this way, we're going to keep a little bit more lateral side bend, right? But if I sway off of it and then come through here, I've got to get my body in some type of position to get to the ball. So it starts to help clear up a few things as we look down the line. Let's see what else we have here. Casting, that's something we're going to have to deal with differently than what our body movement's doing right there. And getting your lead arm. These two things will kind of come together right here, but these three things right here, if we can kind of get what we're doing here, not to say we absolutely fix these things, but we start to move in a better direction. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the main issue that we need to work on for today is making sure that we stayed centered. Those will help clear up a few of the other things down the line for us okay, as we move forward. Okay, sound good? Any questions, big guy? All right, so let's kind of keep with that for a sec. Okay, good. And let me videotape you real quick so you kind of see it. Okay? Do it slow. There you go, better. Okay, good. So let's come on in here and take a look here real quick so you can kind of see what we're trying to do when you're out there practicing, okay? All right, so let's zoom on in here. All right. So watch this lead hip, or trail hip, I'm sorry. Okay. Still kind of going a little bit, but you're starting to get it to work back a little bit. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so this is a movement pattern that we're going to need to kind of work on quite a bit, okay, to get used to that feel. Now let's take a look at what our old pattern was, as we can kind of see here. Right, you see how much that hip's going past that line, and what we really see is a big issue is how much you're lifting up, right? And that's the posture thing that we were talking about earlier. So if I can get you to one, turn in this manner, you can see I don't pop up. Does that make sense? Okay, so we want to try to feel like we're turning, but keeping our chest kind of more over the ball. Does that make sense? Okay, good. And as we kind of come through, right? Now one thing that the machine did tell us, you see that we're casting right here, okay? We're going to work on a little bit on that as well today to kind of give you a drill so you can kind of work on that. And then if I can kind of get that, what happens is that this guy starts to straighten up a little bit. Does that make sense? That was the other thing, is the left arm starts to retract and stuff like that. Okay, so kind of like the song says, one thing leads to another, right? Okay, so if you step on in there, let's do it a few more times, okay? And then I want to try to address the casting issue that we have. Good, okay? All right. All right, so I want you to turn and hold it for me, please. All right, so where do you feel it in your feet? What's happening with your feet?
Feel a bit more on top here.
Okay, so we want to try to get that weight more onto the inside of our foot. Okay, so maybe you need to, kick your knee in just a little bit to kind of get that feel, maybe, yeah. But let's try that. Yeah. Okay. Good. 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 Okay. I want you to turn and hold it for me again, okay? Where do we feel our pressure now?
Yeah, it's more on
Okay. Where do we feel it in the left foot?
Right here a little bit.
Okay, I want to just kind of give you some ideas. So I want to feel it in here, and I want to feel it on the inseam. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, good. Now do you feel it?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Okay. Now what you should feel, right, is the pressure that I kind of talked about, but you really feel like you're kind of getting screwed into the ground or corked in, right? You feel that?
Yeah.
Okay. It should almost feel like this right foot wants to spin out on us, right? Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. Shoulders are getting a little too far down. Think about a 45-degree angle. There you go. Good. Do it again. Hold it for me. All right. Would you want to sit there and sing a song in that position?
Not really.
Good. Okay. These are the feels I'm trying to get you to understand, right? I want you to, when you're in your backswing, right? I can't physically see what I'm doing, right? The only thing I can anchor myself to is what I feel, right? And that's what we've got to kind of go with. And that's what I'm trying to communicate to you, is that when I get to my backswing, I want to feel that pressure in my foot. I want to feel a tightness in the abdomen area right here. That tells me that I'm getting a good coil. If I'm getting on up over here and I feel like I could sing like a bird, then I'm not coiling. I'm probably swaying off the ball and lifting, okay? Allowing air to get in here. I'm trying to compress it. Does that make sense? So if I can get you to kind of turn more in this direction, kind of keep that foot feeling like it's about to turn out, but it doesn't, right? Then we have a better chance of maintaining our posture and coming through and returning that club in a much more efficient manner. Okay? Good. Good. Take a break for just a sec, okay? Grab yourself a little water. Any questions about that?
No.
Okay. Right, I wouldn't say it's exciting, I wouldn't say it's incredibly sexy, but it's where the foundation of the golf swing is, right? And we need to put a little time into that, making sure that we do. Other thing that I kind of see here is I want to work on the casting a little bit today, give you a good understanding how to practice that. And two, I'd like to take a look at your grip. I think you've got a little bit of a weaker grip right now. I'd like to strengthen that up because I think that will help with what we're trying to do against the casting. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. All right. So let's kind of move on to that. Any questions of what we did there? Okay. Good. All right. Let's talk about casting. Okay. What is casting? All right. So the other thing that the little AI bot told us about is casting. Okay. And it's fairly evident when we see the video that we're losing our angle as we come on in here, right? So I want to give you a little bit of a drill to kind of understand what we're going to kind of do. Hopefully we have a little tee here. Good. Yes, we do. All right, I'm just going to kind of... Okay, so what we want to kind of do, all right, now I'm going to kind of give you a demonstration. We'll use the impact bag today for that, but if you kind of sit here with me just for a sec, right? So, whew, those are nice and long, man. Good job. All right, so if I get here like this, okay, I'm just kind of taking my left arm up to parallel where I create the cell for this drill, okay? And then what I want to have the feeling of is I want to have the feeling of this tee driving back down towards that ball, okay? Boom, okay? Once I get to about where that tee is pointing there is where I want to try to start releasing my club, okay? I don't want to be doing this where the tee goes past the ball, okay, then I've held on to my angle too long. But for you, it would be like this. Here's the tee. All right, you see how it's starting to point down the line? Okay, so we want to try to maintain that wrist angle, or another way to kind of think about it is try to keep this cupping in the back of our wrist for as long as we really can before we really need to release it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so once again, as we kind of get up here, we're just going to get the left arm to parallel, driving that tee back down towards that ball. Boom. You see where I'm at there? And now once my hands get to about right thigh high, I want to start turning and rotating and releasing my hands. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. And that way I can keep that forward shaft lean at impact, okay, and drive a decisive blow onto the ball. Okay? So, we're going to kind of start with this, okay? We're not going to hit the ball, right? And what I would do is kind of what we call a pump drill. Okay, so I'm going to get you on up there. Good. Good. There you go. There you go. So there's a good square club face. So we're going to get on up to here. Okay, good. All right, and then get you to kind of pump. Feel that? Mm-hmm. Okay, maintaining that angle. Feel that wrist right there. So we get to about here. Boom. Release. Look what happened to your arm. See how it's staying out and extended from you? Okay, once again. All right, once again. Here. All right, driving that tee back down. Boom. Okay. Now let that right side come through for you, okay? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do that one more time. Give you a good feel for it. Here. All right. Doing parallel. Tee back down towards the ground. Boom. Okay, so we're trying to maintain that wrist angle down into the bottom. Okay, so not going to worry about the ball now. That was to give you a visual. Okay. Now what I want you to kind of do is give me a little bit of that angle, right, and then drive it back into the... Let your right side come through a little bit, okay? Feel like you're maintaining that angle. Yeah, much better. Better. Yeah, that's okay, right? Okay. So one other thing I want to kind of do here real quick. Go ahead, set up. this guy out. There we go. There we go. Okay. See how I got that left hand more on top now?
Yeah.
Okay, feel more control? Okay, so there we go. Much better. Okay, once again. Kind of between two patterns there, I can see. Okay, once again, hold that angle. Good, okay. So let's have a little discussion about something, right? If I were, right, and I just want to kind of put it in a different term for you, okay? If I were to say, hey, this is a big tree right here, right? And this is an axe, right? If I were to hit that tree, right, I would come in like this, right? With my head behind and my hands leading, right? I wouldn't want to be doing this. Does that make sense? Okay, so what we're kind of doing at impact is when we get here, your hands are going out and away and then trying to strike that tree like this. Probably going to lose a knee real quick right? So remember, if I'm trying to hit something, right, or if I'm going to hold that angle and then release that. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Good. Let me get this out of our way. Good. Let me get back to the impact bag again. Okay. All right. So just think of that being like a tree down on the ground. What would you kind of do? Okay. Try to maintain that angle. Good job. Don't try to swing so long. It's just left arm parallel, okay? One more time for me. Good. Okay. So let's do this one more time. I'm going to kind of give you a feel here. You kind of work on it, okay? So here we go. Left arm parallel. Let's not lift. Okay. So it's going to be kind of like this, straight back. There we go. Good. Okay. Boom. You feel that? Feel how everything's moving forward? And then, good. Once again. Nope, don't want to lift, right? Okay. One thing I see here a little bit is you go out and away, okay? You want to feel like there's kind of like a curvature line here that we go in, okay? We don't want to go boo, but I don't want to do this either, okay? So here, good, down, and through. Good job, okay? You see how the hands are right there in line? Okay? Good. That's what we're trying to go for. Okay. One more time, big guy. Give me a couple more, and then I'll let you try to hit a few and try to put this together. Okay? Not so long with the backswing, okay? Think about 3/4 or something. Okay. Good. One more time. So, a few things that I see here with the practice is that we're still kind of making that lateral sway when we're even doing this, okay? So, definitely need to put the time in to get that tilt and turn that we're trying to go for, number one, okay? Number two, let's kind of do one more here and I'll show you a little something here. Good? Good. Okay. So one thing I want to kind of see here is I want to see you getting off your right side a little bit. So let me kind of jump on in there. Okay, see how that right foot's kind of glued to the ground? Jump right over there. Let me kind of show you. Okay. All right. What I'd like to kind of see here a little bit is just here down. You see where I'm at? See how my toes? I'm getting all my weight going forward. That was one of the other things that little device told us, is that you're not really shifting your weight forward. Okay, so having this little impact bag should help us a little bit. If I got here, okay, so here I'm going to give you a drill to kind of help you with that foot movement. Okay, so I'm going to have you stand right here, and I want you to take the bag and I want you to throw it to me. Okay, tell me what your body does naturally. Okay, release that right side. Your right knee goes down the target line for me, okay? Okay. So, set up for me. Okay. Now act like you're throwing the bag. Go on through. Go on through. There you go. Okay. You see what I did right there for you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that again, okay? Yeah, better, better, coming through. Okay, we're starting to shift on to our lead side. Yep, better. Good. Okay, better. Have that right knee going down your target line. Almost feel like your knees are kissing. Good. So do you see how much more weight we got coming towards our target? We don't want to have a lot of weight on our back side as we come. Right? I want to get here, turning down and through it, and then coming through. Does that make sense, big guy? All right. Why don't you take a break for just a sec? Any questions right there, Dominic? Okay. So
Just gotta work on it.
number one, recentering and pivoting, right? Sway. Okay, number two, getting rid of our cast. Okay, and number three, what we're kind of working on here a little bit, probably a little bit, maybe a bridge too far, but the other thing I think kind of goes with it is making sure we get that weight transfer going forward. Okay, we want to have that feeling, right, when I come through impact, right, that my right knee goes down the target line and my head is probably over my left foot and everything is balanced on my left side. Does that make sense? Okay, that's going to help get you shifting forward. Okay. Now the other thing that we kind of see a little bit is that you kind of go back like this, and it's going to be really easy to kind of do this. Okay, so making sure that we turn around our center is going to be number one key for us for what we need to work on this week coming up. Does that make sense? All right. So let's do this. With all that being said, let's hit a few balls. Okay. Let's see if you can kind of put a few of these things together. Okay. And I want you to just give me some biofeedback, like, hey, what is this? What is that? What am I feeling here? I feel this. You know what I mean? Okay. A little bit stronger grip for me, okay? Left hand. A little bit more on top. There we go. Thumb on the side of the shaft. Okay, better. I like that. I like that better. We got the meat of the pad over. Take your time. There's a lot to take in here, okay? Alright, good. Okay. Feel that turning back behind you, not to the side.
Yeah.
Okay? Want to feel like we're turning around our spine. Good. Slow it down just a little bit for yourself, okay? Give me one more and let's take a look on video, okay? Let's take a look. All right. Okay, better. Better. But we still got a little bit of a lift. See your head kind of going up there?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a pretty flat shoulder turn, wouldn't you agree? Okay, so you can kind of see that shoulder point right back at us. You see where JT's is? It's kind of pointing just outside of the ball somewhere. Does that make sense? Okay, so remember, one of the other things that it said was maintaining our posture. Okay, so let's put the club across our chest real quick. Good. Okay. Yeah, right? You don't feel any lifting up there, do you? Okay, so we want to try to feel like our left shoulder is going more down than flat. Does that make sense? Okay, now we don't want it going, you know, like I don't want you doing this, okay, but it's definitely more of this left lead shoulder kind of doing, if I was an airplane, kind of more like this. Does that make sense? Trying to keep my shoulders on that same plane that I'm trying to swing on. There you go, good. Okay, do it slow. There you go, good. All right, so when you do this, go ahead and do it again for me. One more time. All right. You see the, go ahead and hold it. You see the lateral side bend? You feel that right there? If you get up over here, you don't feel that at all, do you? Okay? There you go. Okay, so we want to try to maintain that balance, okay? All right, so if you were to look at my spine through impact, right, just think of this as the back part of my spine. As I turn, see I'm here, okay? As I rotate and turn, that chest still stays in that same position as it comes, and then I come through here, then my spine is at sort of an angle. All right, if we take a look at JT here. All right. Okay, you see what I'm talking about there? All right, I'm not saying that we're going to get in that same position, but if I could get you to kind of keep that spine angle, stay in that spine angle, and turn around your spine, it's going to be a lot easier to be consistent. Does that make sense too? Yeah, there you go, right? Getting that right side to stay back, staying centered. All right. And this is probably something we haven't done before, right? This is a new movement that we're trying to make, right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so let's go with 4 balls here. Okay. All right, and I want you to just kind of focus on trying to turn more center around your body. Okay? Not trying to lift up or anything like that. Okay? Good. Good. Okay, good job. How's that feeling for you?
Yeah, I feel it in the, where you're supposed to feel it.
Okay.
Just have to think about it.
Okay, that's fine. Good. All right. Good. All right. So just for a little fun right now, let's just kind of get the club a little bit, get the ball a little bit straighter. Okay, I think we're on to a good start here. Okay, so for this drill here, I just want you to kind of get the toe into the bag. Give me a couple, just give me a couple where the toe's in the bag, and then just try to transfer that feel. Good. Again. Okay, toe into the bag for me. Good. One more time. Toe into the bag. Good. All right. Good. Okay, here you go. All right. Let's just try to focus on what we did there, okay? Well, maybe move a little bit left for us. A little bit slower. Slow down the swing just a smidge. Get that toe into the back for me, okay? A little bit closer than you think. Better. Getting straighter down, getting a little bit straighter. Okay, not so far out to the right, getting there. Okay. One more time, we kind of have to do this here. So you kind of come, get here. Right. Feel those hands go, right? Loosen up those forearms, okay? Right, here we go, right? I'm gonna kind of control the club here. There you go, right? That's a lot easier to turn, isn't it? Okay, there you go, partner. Okay, good. How did that one feel? A little bit better?
Yeah, better just loosen up a little bit.
Loosen up, right? You don't need to kill it,
Yeah.
right? We're not trying to kill it, we're just trying to swing a golf club. So we're starting to get a little bit of a straighter ball, at least I see there. Okay, how's it feeling for us? Do we have any questions right now?
No, just trying to mentally go through the.
Right, I wouldn't say we're gonna get it all, it's gonna clear itself up today, but I think having a good understanding of what we're doing wrong, what we need to practice on, right? And then giving it some time for our mind to get around that corner will really help us. Get a little bit more of that toe into the bag for me. Feel those forearms rotate just a little bit more, okay? You're doing really good. Just a little bit more forearm rotation through impact, okay? just a little bit. Okay, at that speed, it's really hard to try to shut the face from back there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Slow it down, give yourself a little bit of some time, okay? You're going to get more distance with centerness of contact than you are going to be with speed off the face or off the toe or off the hosel, okay? Okay. Keep going. Set up for me real quick. Just one little thing to kind of help you with the face. When you take, oh, go ahead, take the club. When you take the club back, try to get your right palm facing a little bit more down. See how that, right palm, down. Okay, see how that gets the face down a little bit? Okay, so once again, here we go. Let you go. All right, see that? Okay. What you're kind of doing is when you get here, it's like wide open. So I'm asking you to close the toe, and it's already really wide open. Okay, so if I can get you kind of more like this, you see where that club face is right there?
Yeah.
A little bit of a kind of leaning just that side. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, once again. Good. Okay, that keeps that face square. And it's going to be a lot easier for you to rotate through as you come through, okay? Okay, see that? See how it kind of straight then to the left? So we were able to keep the face a little bit close to what our path. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good, okay. Don't want to have it too open or rapidly open on the back swing. Still got to, that's all right. Still got to have rotation, right? It's not going to just be kind of this, but we're just trying to feel like that palm is a little bit down. Okay, I'll kind of keep that face a little bit more square on our takeaway. Oh, there we go. Good job. Keep that. Let's hit a few more here and then we'll. Let's take a look at that guy real quick. That's okay. That's okay. We got it. We got to have a visual to see what we're doing. Okay. So once again, got that lateral sway coming back. Okay. So once again, as I said in the beginning, if I just kind of gave you a club and let you kind of wander off, you're going to get back into this. Okay, so dedicating some time to some practice to get that feel is going to be paramount, right? And the more we can do it, it's just going to start shining through for us, okay? But don't be surprised if this is a move that takes you, 6 months to really get to a real handle for, right? It takes time for us to get that system in, okay? So don't be afraid of that, okay? Now the other thing is you can see now that you kind of lifted, you're getting a lot of over rotation here, right? You see how much of this back shoulder I see right here? Okay, that's because we've kind of, let me kind of describe it here, right? So what we've kind of done is we've gone like that, right? Okay, that's not what we want to do, okay? We want to try to keep that lateral side bend like we talked about, stay here, down and through. Okay, good. All right, so we don't need to rotate that much, okay? right? So you see JT here, it's just kind of like his shoulders get to about a 90 degree, okay? Yours are well past that, right? Well past that, okay? And as we come on through here, right? Doing better with holding your ankle though. Look at that, much better. A little bit of an early release, but from where we were to where we are now, that's so much better. Okay, still need to kind of work on that just a little bit. But look at the other thing I'm really seeing here. You see how you're getting onto your right side? That's really good, okay? So remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, but we are starting to build the foundation. Okay, so let's talk about what we need to work on moving forward. Does that sound good, Dominic?
Okay.
Any questions? Anything I can kind of answer for you on that? Okay. All right. Let's jump on into it. All right. First things first. If you'll kind of sit over there by the computer and just kind of watch me real quick. Next slide. All right. So first things first. Okay. I want you to get some kind of little object or an alignment stick you can kind of put right here or something like that. Maybe an inch or two or something like that. Give yourself a little leeway right now. We're still trying to learn, okay? But remember, most of what the pros do when they shift off the ball is about an inch, maybe an inch and a half. But we don't want to be 3 or 4 inches off. Does that make sense? Okay? But as I kind of turn, there's a little bit of this. I got to get that momentum going, right? So don't be afraid of that. But then I really want to feel like I'm creating space between this object and my rear hip. Okay? And I want to have this alignment rod pointing probably at about a 45 degree angle. That'd probably be a 90, that being kind of 0. But somewhere in this kind of range right here. Okay? The first thing is we just need to kind of work on this, right? Feel that tension, right? And I want to feel that my right foot wants to splay out or spin out. Okay? I want to feel a little pressure on the inseam of my left foot here. Okay? As I start to turn down. So left shoulder turns down somewhat. Okay? Now that's number 1 drill that we need to kind of work on, okay? Number 2, okay, which was kind of big for us, and I think I saw something shining through there, which is great, is that we want to get that T in the butt of our club, or whatever it might be for you. It could be anything, right? But something that kind of directs me to where that direction needs to kind of be, right? But I want to get here, I want to pump. You see how that thing's pointing right there? And then right about where that thing starts pointing is where I want to start releasing. Does that make sense? I don't want to start releasing back over here, and I don't want to release. I see a lot of people do this. I'm going to really hold that angle. Well, you're stuck at this point, man. You know what I mean? You're going to flip back out, right? So once I get to about right here where that T's pointing back towards that ball, release, okay? And what I would do is I would do a pump drill. Pump, pump, pump. And you feel like what you're going to do. Does that make sense? Now, I always kind of equate it to if I'm going to hit an oak tree or a tree or something like that, if I was going to hit something, I'm going to hold that angle as long as I can to deliver that power, okay? If I put you in a baseball thing, you'd be like, okay, that's it, boom, right? But now I've kind of changed where the ball is, and so we think we can really rear up and kind of release it, okay? We still want to hold some of those same angles, right? Boom, okay? The other thing that you can kind of work on at least a little bit, get the toe into the back, right? Just small little shots, boom. That's it. Trying to get your forearms to feel what the rotation is a little bit. And for you, that would mean having softer forearms. Don't try to have a lot of tension in our arms, right? That restricts our movement patterns, right? Feel fluid, feel like you can move very freely, okay? Any questions, big guy?
No.
Anything I can answer for you?
No.
Okay. Going to Top Golf today?
Top golf.
All right. All right. So that's what we want to kind of work on. Okay? Let me see you hit 1 or 2 more, okay? Before we break. How do you like the feel of your new Tacomas?
I like it. It feels good. It's still.
Do you? You like it better than your old clubs?
Yeah, it's a little longer too. So.
Yeah, I like that. It's definitely longer. I was feeling that. I was like, woo, that's long for me. That's great for you. Good. Slow it down just a bit for me, okay? All right, we're just trying to learn something. We're not trying to kill it, okay? Right. Try to focus on getting that hip to turn back behind you, okay? You feel like you turned behind that one there? Right. And those are the things, like when you're out there practicing, you need to be honest with yourself. Did I do what I was trying to achieve or not? Right? And if you didn't, then find a little time to kind of have a little station set up where you're practicing and kind of make that move, repeat that move, and then jump in. Does that make sense? Right? Kind of repeat it 3 or 4 times and then try to see if you can duplicate it on a swing or something like that. And then be honest with yourself. Did I do what I was trying to achieve? Don't just go like, let's try it again. Right? If we didn't do it, then let's go back and work on those movement patterns. Does that make sense? Good.